Hey guys, today I'm going to be sharing with you my to-be-read pile for April and May. So, before I head into my TBR for April and May, let's talk about the previous TBR, which was for February, March. I managed to get all of that done, you guys. If you recall, the big things I was doing for February, March, I was getting through the entirety of the Walking Dead series. It was 4 gigantic compendiums. I managed to fly through the compendiums. Definitely stay tuned for my review for my discussion on the final Walking Dead compendium, if that's something you're interested in. And yeah, the only other things I was able to kind of read besides Walking Dead, I was just catching up on a bunch of Cassandra Clare books, because I think I had like 3 Cassandra Clare books I needed to get through. So yeah, February, March was pretty exhausting, you guys, because yeah, that was a lot of stuff dealing with series. And I figured for my April, May TBR, I figured, you know what, I'm not going to do anything that's dealing with series, you know, since February, March was pretty heavy on series. So I'm just going to kind of read books that are standalone. Hopefully they're standalone books, good lord. So yeah, let's get into that, you guys. What do I plan on reading for April and May? Because yeah, there's really not much else to do right now. Something I plan on getting around to is this book of nonfiction by Alison Weir, and this is Elizabeth of York, a Tudor Queen and Her World. And yeah, I love Alison Weir. Her historical nonfiction is so good. She's a very compelling writer with nonfiction. And yeah, this book is, like it says, it's about Elizabeth of York. And Elizabeth of York was essentially the first, I guess, Tudor queen, if you want to put it that way. She was married to King Henry the Seventh, and yeah, they produced the infamous King Henry VIII, you guys. And yeah, I love the story of Elizabeth of York, because yeah, her story, you know, it starts right there near the tail end of the War of the Roses, everything going on with her father, King Edward the Fourth, I believe, is his number, and yeah, everything with Richard III, who was her uncle, who were they secret lovers? Who knows? I doubt Elizabeth of York and Richard III were lovers, you guys. But yeah, I've been wanting to read a book of nonfiction about Elizabeth of York, see Alison Weir's take on Elizabeth, and just learn more and more about her and the fascinating world that she comes from. So yeah, this should be very good, you guys. Next up, I've not read any Philippa Gregory in a while, so I was like, I need to catch up on some Philippa Gregory, so I'm going to read this random book of hers, Fallen Skies. This has been sitting on my bookshelf for ages, and I've been wanting to get to it. And yeah, this book has nothing to do with like the Tudors or the Plantagenets, nothing like that, because yeah, that's what I tend to typically read from Philippa Gregory. So yeah, this is one of her standalone books that has nothing to do with like the English monarchy. And yeah, what is this even about? It takes place in post-World War I England. Yeah, following a woman named Lily. She is determined to forget the horrors of the war by throwing herself into the decadent pleasures of the 1920s and pursuing her career as a music hall singer. When she meets Captain Stephen Winters, a decorated veteran, she's immediately drawn into his wealth and status, and Stephen, burdened by his guilt over surviving the Flanders battlefields, where so many soldiers perished, sees the possibility of forgetting his anguish in Lily, but his family does not approve. Oh, so yeah, this sounds like a forbidden love affair of some sort taking place right after World War I. I'm gonna love this. There's almost like a Downton Abbey vibe to it, which is perfectly okay with me. I also plan on getting into some books that have been released so far here in 2020. I've been accruing quite a collection so far, so yeah, all of my TBRs, I'm trying to kind of balance out my reading. You know, I want to read some books published this year, I want to read some books published from years ago. So yeah, the next set of books are all books that have been published in 2020 so far. So yeah, up first is Lady Clementine by Marie Benedict. And I read a book last year by Marie Benedict, The Only Woman in the Room, which was about Hedy Lamarr, actress Hedy Lamarr. So yeah, this book, let us explore. Ooh, there's a cool like inside cover here. That's cool. Yeah, this book. Let's see. In 1909, Clementine steps off of a train with her new husband, Winston. An angry woman emerges from the crowd to attack, shoving him in the direction of an oncoming train. Just before he stumbles, Clementine grabs him by his suit jacket. This will not be the last time Clementine Churchill will save her husband. So, yeah, this book is focused on the wife of Winston Churchill, you guys. Former Prime Minister of Great Britain. Yeah, that sounds awesome, you guys. It's like, I know quite a lot about Winston Churchill, but yeah, I have no idea about his wife, who she was, what she did. But this sounds like she has a lot more involvement in things, you know, working behind the scenes with him. So yeah, can't wait to get to this and learn about a historical lady. Next up, I have All the Ways We Said Goodbye, and this is by 3 authors. We have Beatrice Williams, Lauren Willig, who I love and adore, and Karen White. And this book, yeah, it's told by all 3 authors. I think each of them are kind of working on different sections of the book, but it's all like one story to my knowledge. Yeah, they're just all working on different chunks of it. Because, yeah, there's 3 different timelines. I'm assuming each of them have a different timeline. Because, yeah, there's a setting in 1914, a setting in 1942, and then a setting in 1964. And, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and read, because this is a long summary. You guys, I'm not going to sit here and read it. But, yeah, all the stories, they take place in Paris at a hotel of some sort. That's how they all kind of connect. But yeah, if you want to know more about the synopsis of this, I highly recommend going to Goodreads, because me, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and read this. Me just telling you about it ain't going to really work, but yeah, this sounds really good, because it looks like some of it takes place in World War I, World War II, and then right there in the 60s. So yeah, I'm curious to see how this will go. Next up, I plan on reading The King at the Edge of the World by Arthur Phillips. And yeah, what is this book about? It takes place in the year 1601. Queen Elizabeth I is dying, childless. Her nervous kingdom has no heir. It is a capital crime even to think that Elizabeth will ever die. Potential successors secretly maneuver to be in position when the inevitable occurs. The leading candidate is King James VI of Scotland, but there is a problem. The Queen's spy masters, hardened veterans of a long war on terror and religious extremism, fear that James is not what he appears. He has every reason to claim to be a Protestant, but if he secretly shares his family's Catholicism, then 40 years of religious war will have been for nothing, and a bloodbath will ensue. With time running out, London confronts a seemingly impossible question: what does James truly believe? There's a little bit more to this plot than that, but that's kind of the basic summary, kind of. Right here, I think it's Queen Elizabeth I is dying, and kind of the tension, the religious tension going on, and yeah, some characters trying to kind of unravel James VI. It sounds like if he's going to be a good king or not. So yeah, this sounds right up my alley, you guys. I cannot wait to get to this. And then, you guys, this is a book that was kind of unplanned, but I have been reading it already for a couple months, and I tend to only read this, like, if I'm watching TV that has like commercial breaks, for instance. I've been reading The Costumes of Game of Thrones, this big gigantic volume, you guys. All just the costumes of Game of Thrones, like it says. Like I said, I've been like reading this during like TV shows. If they have commercial breaks, I'll kind of just pick this up and look through the pictures and stuff, because yeah, that's kind of primarily what this is. There's a little bit of writing in it, but primarily you're looking at a bunch of the costuming. And yeah, Michelle Clapton did the costuming, and yeah, she gives explanation about, you know, why characters' costumes look the way that they do, how the costumes define the characters, how they change from beginning to end on the show. And yeah, this has actually been very informative and very enlightening and very interesting. So yeah, if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, and if you especially love the gorgeous costuming by Michelle Clapton, I definitely recommend this. This is definitely a collector's piece. And yeah, so far, I've been enjoying it. And yeah, my hope is that I will get done with this book by the end of the year. Because yeah, I'm only reading like little bits and pieces at a time, you know. know. Because this is definitely something I don't think I could just sit and read, you know, like days on end. So yeah, I'm hoping by the end of the year I'll be done with this big gigantic thing. So you guys, other than all those other books, I think I have room for 2 books from my TBR jar, you guys. So yeah, I'm going to pick out 2 books here. Let's see what happens. I'm always so excited. I'm always so excited. I love pulling out books from this stupid thing. Because it forces me to read things that I might not get around to anytime soon, you know? Okay, book number 1. Wow, this is amazing. I'm already in love. Where is it? So, what I just picked out from the TBR jar is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, you guys. I have heard so much about Rebecca. It is one of those gothic classics that's a must that people who love literature need to read. So I've been dying and anxious to read this book. And yeah, it's kind of one of those books that a lot of times it's made reference to in pop culture, and sometimes I don't really understand the references, so I cannot wait to get to this. And yeah, I mean, I really don't even know what the plot is about. Yeah, what is it about? It's set at the great Cornwall estate of Manderley, one of the most famous country houses in England. The story has an immediate urgency, a brilliant created atmosphere of suspense. As the novel opens, Manderley's glamorous mistress, Rebecca, has been dead for 8 months. Okay, so Rebecca is this man's wife, and she's dead. Okay. Rebecca, she is drowned in a tragic sailing accident, but her legacy lives on, especially in the mind of Maxim de Winter's young and frightened second wife. Through her eyes, we come to know Rebecca, from the tall and sloping R with which she signed her name, to the way she so meticulously organized the magnificent annual costume ball that was attended by the whole countryside. Good Lord, there's a big old thing here. And, okay, that's kind of it. I don't need to sit and read all this, but yeah, this is a story about the second wife of this man, his first wife named Rebecca. What's going on? I'm so intrigued, you guys. I've heard so many great positive things about this book. I definitely cannot wait to get to this. Okay, then I definitely have room for a second book, because that's not too terribly long. Okay, let's see what we have here. The book that I just pulled out is actually The Count of Monte Cristo, but as much as I want to read The Count of Monte Cristo, that is a very, very giant book, and I don't want to sit and start that kind of at the end of the month, and then it just kind of rolls into like the next TBR, you know. So I'm gonna put The Count of Monte Cristo back. If I had picked The Count of Monte Cristo first before Rebecca, then I would have read The Count of Monte Cristo, but yeah, Count of Monte Cristo is a gigantic book, so yeah, I'm going to put this back, which pains me because I really want to read The Count of Monte Cristo, but yeah, I don't really have time to squeeze that into this particular TBR, which is unfortunate, you guys. I hate that. I'll get to it eventually, though. Okay, what do I have here? Let's try this again. Okay, this is weird. This is very weird that I just picked this out, because it's an author that I'm already reading for this TBR. So what I just picked out is The Princes in the Tower by Alison Weir. If you recall, I'm also going to be reading another nonfiction book by Alison Weir for this TBR, so I guess I'm going to read another one. And yeah, that shouldn't bother me too much, reading 2 nonfiction books, because yeah, I'll read one at the beginning of the TBR and then read the other near the end of the TBR. That should work out nicely. And yeah, this is historical nonfiction, like I said, by Alison Weir, focused on the princes in the Tower. The 2 sons of Edward the Fourth. Like I said, I get all the Edwards messed up. I think it's Edward the Fourth. And yeah, their infamous story, being locked in the Tower of London. Did Richard III have them murdered? Because that's kind of the big mystery, that their bodies have never been found. You know, their bodies have never been found. There's always been pretenders to the throne kind of during this time if one of the boys had lived. I find the story of the Princes in the Tower so utterly gripping and fascinating. So yeah, I'm very glad I went ahead and picked this out as well, so this should be awesome. So you guys, that is it for this TBR. In the comments below, have you guys read any of these books? Do you plan on reading any of them? Let me know your thoughts and feelings. I'm definitely very excited. So that's it for this TBR. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.